most interesting part of childhood was the vacations, the annual vacations which I was looking forward. I used to come to my village and have time with my grandparents, and my grandfather was a real inspiration for me. Hi everyone, I'm Santhosh Kana. Once again, a warm welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a special guest on my channel, Dr. Sujith Karimbil. Welcome Sujita. Hello, hi. And he is a practicing dermatologist and an author of 2 books titled MAAGNET and MAAGNET, the Book of Quotes. Today we are going to have a conversation on his writing process, his experience as a dermatologist, his childhood experiences, what triggers him in his creative journey. And these 2 books have already received great positive reviews from readers. You can check these books on Amazon. So I'm really excited and happy to welcome Dr. Sujith Karimbil to my YouTube channel. Sujith, welcome. Hello. Thank you so much. And the 2 books written by him are right now in my hands, MAAGNET and the MAAGNET Book of Quotes. So if you have a closer look at the title, MAAGNET has got an extra A to it. So what does this 7-letter title stand for? What is this acronym? What is its expansion? We will ask the author himself. So to start with, what is the title MAAGNET all about? I had to tell my readers, especially the youth, about the mistakes I had made in life, so that they don't commit that mistakes, and to achieve something in life, to be successful in life at an earliest, as early as possible. So I felt that I started late and I wanted people to start early. And I had to convey my struggle and how I went about. And for that I had to make a framework which they could understand and it will be easy for them to follow. So if they have a framework, they can follow that thing, and and they can... It shouldn't be very abstract. Yes, so that they don't repeat the mistakes which usually people like me had done, so that we don't miss the bus. So in that attempt, I was analyzing my journey and trying to find out what I should tell my readers. And in that attempt, I framed this acronym called MAAGNET, which is a framework for success. The framework MAAGNET is an acronym where M stands for mindset, A stands for ambition, another A stands for association, G stands for giving value, N stands for never give up, E stands for enthusiasm, and T stands for thinking big. Wow, that's beautiful. The book MAAGNET is subtitled The 7 Secrets to Health, Wealth and Success in Building Your Legacy. Let us ask the author himself. So when I read the book, I found it really inspirational and motivational. And I know the book is going to help lots of students, youngsters and professionals in finding the true purpose of life, how you need to be the architect of your own life. I think that is what the book tries to convey. But that's not enough to summarize the book. So how do you give a gist of the book and what is the takeaway from MAAGNET? One thing I realized over the period of time is that the most valuable asset we have in this world is time, and most of us, we trade time to make a living, and most of us, the majority of us, I can say, live a mediocre life, trading their time just for mere survival. And this was causing a lot of pain in me. And when I did an analysis, I found that, and it's a very sad fact, that less than 0.5% of the country's population are able to live a life of dreams, and when much more than that are capable of doing that. This book is an attempt to encourage our youngsters to live their life of dreams. Childhood is a very significant stage of everybody's life in shaping their personality, their perspectives, right? And since you have written 2 books and you have a successful career in the medical field as well, I would like to know how has your childhood shaped your personality? Do you like to highlight a few things that played a key role in your personality, development and perspective formation?
childhood was actually fun, especially when I used to come to my village and have time with my grandparents. And my grandfather was a real inspiration for me, because he was a person who inculcated those moral values, spiritual values in life, and that had a lot of impact in me. And the most interesting part of childhood was the vacations, the annual vacations, which I was looking forward. And those days when we used to come to the village, the rich experience I had with the culture here, the art forms, traditions and all that, those really influenced me. And I developed an interest for reading and these art forms. And that was a real great experience. And my company with my relatives, my cousins, and that was very enriching, you can say.
Okay.
Coming to the later part of childhood, as I grew up and I was entering my teens, things were a little more difficult, because I used to have a feeling of insecurity, feeling of I used to feel that I was good for nothing. Might be because of peer bullying and all that, and a lot of negativities around me. So that was a very tough time, but somehow things got better as I grew up. And my desire was to become a doctor. And when I was going to my school every day, I had to climb a hill and go. So
where was that? Which place?
It was in Mangalore. And my school was on the Lighthouse Hill. And at the foothill was the medical college in Mangalore. And that was a Kasturba Medical College. And every day I used to cross the college and go to school. And when I used to see doctors walking around with coats and all that, it was I had an attraction for the white coat. And I had decided that I should become a doctor. And this desire was there in me every day. And I used to think one day, I used to visualize myself walking on that on the Lighthouse Hill, wearing the white coat and all that. And somehow, even though I used to feel good for nothing, but somehow because of this deep desire and the visualization that I'll become a doctor, I became a doctor.
What you said is quite interesting. Visualization, how does that help a person in life in, fulfilling their dreams, reaching the target that they have set for themselves, So with your experience, could you elaborate on that?
My visualization of becoming a doctor was not conscious. I didn't know that visualization would make me a doctor. But somehow that deep desire inside used to make me visualize this every day. Me becoming a doctor, walking around with a coat. And we had to write an entrance exam to get into the medical school. And in those days, there was no coaching classes. We didn't have any special coaching for the entrance exam and all that. And it was quite competitive to get in. But somehow, with a little bit of effort, I wouldn't say a lot of effort as today's kids do, very little effort I can say, I managed to get into the medical school. And I believe it's because of this visualization, the deep desire inside to become a doctor, and that was fulfilled.
So you have been working as a dermatologist for quite a long years of time now. So how has your medical profession experience contributed to your writing, because you are now trying your hand at creative expression, and how has this writing contributed to you as a doctor? How mutually they contribute here?
The medical profession, in fact, requires a lot of commitment and dedication, and I feel that all doctors should be magnet. Because all the components of magnet are very essential for us doctor to successfully continue his career and give the best to the society. And a constant upgradation of skills and learning. Learning never stops for a doctor. You should be continuously learning. So I feel I had applied all these components in my career, and whatever growth I've achieved in my career is because of this of magnet. And I felt that these components of magnet, if applied in any field, it would bring results. And that is the reason behind me writing this book, so that people from other fields, anybody, any ordinary person could make use of these components of magnet as a framework to bring success in their careers, any profession for that matter. So that was the reason in me considering or taking up writing as a hobby. And then I felt people took up this magnet in a very nice way. I'm getting good reviews from
Very
people.
good,
And I also used to conduct youth retreats for children, youngsters, teenagers who needed this most, because I know what difficulties I had faced as a teenager, and which were roadblocks in for achievements and for accomplishments. So then this youth retreats helped a lot of children, lot of youngsters to bring the best out of them. And I thought a wider audience should have access to this framework, and that was the idea behind writing this book.
So when you speak about the components of magnet, how it could be implemented in different professions, I think, could you please, it will be very useful if you could talk about what are those components you have talked about in the book.
As I told you earlier, the acronym or this framework magnet, the components of magnet are M, which stands for mindset, A, which stands for association, ambition, G stands for giving value, N stands for never give up, E for enthusiasm, and T for thinking big. So the most important component of this framework is mindset. And mindset is very important because, if you can broadly classify mindset, there are two types of mindset, according to a very famous author called Carol Dweck, who has written a beautiful book called Mindset. And in that, there are two components, two types of mindset. One is a fixed mindset and one is a growth mindset. The fixed mindset is like you feel that I'm good at something or I'm not good at something. Whereas a growth mindset is that, I can do it. There is no limiting beliefs there. So in a fixed mindset, you have a lot of limiting beliefs, like I'm not good at something, I cannot do that, I cannot become rich, I cannot become successful, those kind of thoughts. That is your fixed mindset. So most of us have both these mindsets, alternating. Sometimes we have a fixed mindset, sometimes we have a growth mindset. If we can convert this to a growth mindset, saying that I can do it, I will do it, then it's very easy to get things done. You can accomplish a lot. So the main component is mindset, and if you can control your mind, and focus yourself on your task, on your goals, and on your aspirations, there is nothing which can stop you. And the next is ambition. Ambition is very important in life, when you have an ambition towards something, you should focus on what you do rather than focus on your results. And I learned this concept from the Bhagavad Gita, where the Bhagavad Gita tells us that you should focus on what you do and not on what you not on the results. And there's a very beautiful shloka saying karmanne vadikarasye ma phaleshu katachana, means you're not you should not be focusing on your results, just focus on your work. And even when you speak in terms of happiness, when you say that, I'll be happy when I get something or when I achieve something, you are limiting yourself, and you have to wait a long time to be happy. And the main problem here is you get something and you become happy. The very next moment, you are craving for something else and you need some more time to be happy. But whereas if you focus on your work, on your task, if you are happy by doing if you're happy doing what you're doing, then you can remain happier for a longer time. So the process itself brings happiness, and the result also brings happiness. So you're happy always. So you should find happiness in what you do. So that is what I mean by ambition. You should be very ambitious in doing whatever you do. And the next component is association. Association is the people you hang around with matters a lot. People influence you a lot. The things which you see influence you a lot. What you hear, what kind of books you read, what kind of stuff you watch on TV, on mobile, all this influences you a lot. And association is a very important component. Try to associate with people who encourage you, who become part of your growth, and read a lot of...
And who can help you in this growth mindset.
Growth, yes, exactly. And keep yourself surrounded with things which are good for your accomplishments. And when I say association, it means not only people, with books, with what you hear, what you see, what you, all those things. And then as giving value. The G in magnet stands for giving value. So you should always think about what I can give to others rather than what I can get out of it, And when you do that, as you give more and more value to people, you start getting a lot of value. The more value you create, the more value you give, more valuable you become. So you should not focus on what I will get out of something, what I can give, what I can do to the society, what I can contribute to this world. When you think in that way, when you give value, you get a lot of value. Okay. And the next component is to never give up. whatever you're doing, it's very natural to have roadblocks. A lot of failures will be there. But those failures, if you're focusing on results, these failures will bother you a lot. But if you're focusing on your work, these failures will never bother you, because you're not focusing on the result. The result may come or not, but if you're enjoying your work, you continue doing that work, and results will naturally come today or tomorrow. You may not be successful today, but as time goes, you will be successful. So never give up when you face roadblocks. Don't give up your work. Continue doing it, and this is a very important component. And the next one is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm to do whatever you have. Whatever you accomplish. What are your goals? If you set your goals, you should be very enthusiastic. You should do it day in and day out. And for that, you need to have a discipline, routine, and and as I told you earlier, if you're focusing on your work, and if you're loving what you're doing, if it's your passion, enthusiasm comes by itself, automatically. And that if you have that enthusiasm, nobody can stop you. And the last component of Magnet is thinking big. Our thought should be always, we should be thinking big, not about small things, small gossips, small complaints, small, trivial. Instead of thinking about trivial things, hearing and watching trivial things, watching a mindless debate on TV, or unnecessary things which come in the newspapers. The newspapers are always filled with negative news, and people have a habit of reading newspaper in the early morning, and the first thing you read is all negative things in the newspaper. So we focus on those things. We discuss about trivial politics, and which is not in our hands, and we waste a lot of time thinking about unnecessary things which we cannot cause any impact. So instead of that, think about big things. Think how you can impact this world, what you can do towards it. And thinking big is a very important component. And what you think, you become.
Yeah, lovely. So that basically means how you can be a person who can contribute in solving the issues rather than contributing to the aggravating a problem, become a solution.
And when you have a growth mindset, you always are looking out for solutions rather than concentrating on the problem. So you'll be always trying to scoop out the solution for your problems.
What are some of the challenges that you faced in writing the book, and most importantly in publishing the 2 books? I'll also be asking about the second book that you have published. So what is the process like?
In fact, writing the book was a very easy job for me, because the very fact that I was following Magnet, the process of the framework of Magnet, helped me write this book very easily. So that's why I said, if you apply this Magnet in any field, whatever work you do, you can do that work very smoothly. And this writing this book was very easy for me, because I was following this process. And meeting my goals, like the number of words I should write in a day, the editing process, the approaching the publisher, getting my work edited by the editor, all this happened very smoothly, because I had I had the process in place, and Magnet helped me a lot.
And what about the challenges in publishing? And most youngsters and our viewers would love to know, how can they get their books published, even without approaching an established publisher? Is there any self-publishing platforms? Are there platforms like that? How do they help, and what is the process like?
Publishing, generally there are 2 ways of publishing your work. One is the traditional way of publishing, which you approach a publisher and they do the work for you. The writing is done by you, the editing, the cover design, everything is done by the publisher, and even the marketing part is taken care by them. But when it comes to self-publishing, there are a lot of opportunities for self-publishing these days, especially because of Kindle. Amazon Kindle is really a great platform for self-publishing authors, especially the Kindle direct publishing is very easy. So you can write the book, you can upload it on Kindle, and your book gets converted to a digital format, and even you can make it into a paperback or a hardcover, whatever you want, and you can publish it on Amazon without depending any publisher. There's another way of doing self-publishing where there are certain publishing houses who help self-publishers publish their work. So you write the book, you get your book edited by a good editor, and you get your cover design done, and it's always better to do a cover design with a professional who does your cover design, and then you with your published work, with your work in the completed work, you approach the publisher who helps you in publishing the book, but the marketing part is done exclusively by you.
How do you do that part, marketing?
That's a very interesting question. The most difficult part of the publishing is marketing. So writing a book and getting it edited and all that is very easy. But when it comes to marketing, that's the most difficult part. And these days, because of the social media, you have a lot of platforms. On your social media, you can do a lot of marketing. And you can take help from different collaborators. You can do some advertising. And when your book is on Kindle and when it's on Amazon, the Amazon itself starts advertising your book, and you also can take advantage of their advertising options. And as more and more people read your book, read your work, and you get appreciations in the form of reviews, your book starts getting noticed. And that's one way of doing marketing. And you can also approach bookstores to keep your books, and even book agents who can supply your book nationwide and make it available in bookstores. But marketing as itself is very difficult. It's not that easy.
So when you talked about traditional publishing and self-publishing, dear viewers, I have both the books written by Dr. Sujith Karimbil here. This is MAAGNET, and this is an example of traditional publishing. And the second one, the Maagnetbook of Quotes, written by him, is an example of self-publishing. So grab a copy of these books on Amazon. Before I wind up the conversation with Dr. Sujith Karimbil, the second book which he has written, the Book of Quotes, is a collection of quotations from the ancient times to the modern times. And all of us love good quotes because they trigger new thoughts. They open up new perspectives. And you can even say that a beautiful quote is a well-sculpted thought. I would love to read out one of the quotes from the book, and then we would listen to his signing off note. Just as we develop our physical muscles through overcoming opposition, such as lifting weights, we develop our character muscles by overcoming challenges and adversity. By Stephen Covey. Thank you, Sujathan, for this beautiful conversation. What is your signing off note for the viewers and for me?
Yeah. When I published my first book, The Magnet, I got appreciation from a lot of readers regarding the quotes which appeared in the book. And a lot of readers commented about the quotes. And then I thought it would be right to collect quotes from different authors and different great personalities and compile it into a book. And as a result, the Maagnetbook of Quotes was born. And this book of quotes is based on the framework of Magnet, and each component of Magnet being a chapter in the book, with quotes about mindset, quotes about ambition, quotes about association, and all the components of Magnet. And that is the Magnet Book of Quotes, which again has got a lot of appreciation from readers. I sincerely request you to buy this book, the Maagnetbook of Quotes, and also the Magnet, and I'm sure it will add a lot of value to your life and make your dreams come true. It will help you live your life of dreams. And I thank you so much, Santhosh, for inviting me for this interview.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.